Hi, it's Mr. Troy here. I had a request for a video explaining when you want to use different methods to solve quadratic equations. So here it is. Hope this helps. I've got an equation right here that is 5x squared plus 30x plus 100 equals 200. I noticed some things. First of all, it starts with 5x squared as opposed to 1x squared. That's going to make life a little bit harder for us. Second of all, there are numbers on both sides of the equation. I don't have anything equaling 0 yet. And thirdly, in this particular case, everything is divisible by 5. So I am going to start off by subtracting 200 from both sides so that one of my sides equals 0. That's 5x squared plus 30x minus 100 equals 0. Now, as I said before, I noticed that everything here is divisible by 5, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to divide both sides by 5. This is okay because I'm using an equation and I can do whatever I want to one side of the equation as long as I do it the same way to the other side. So I'm going to be left with x squared plus 6x minus 20 equals 0. At this point, I have to make a decision: do I want to solve using the quadratic formula or do I want to solve using another method? I am going to show you how to do both completing the square and the quadratic formula to this particular problem. I have a lot of experience with completing the square, so I think it's easier, but maybe you would rather make the quadratic formula. First of all, I made the decision that this can't be factored. And the reason that I know that this can't be factored is because if I look at 20, the only ways to make 20 are 20 and 1, 5 and 4, or 10 and 2. And none of those are going to combine to make 6x. So I can't factor. Which is unfortunate, but I'm going to move on with my life. So I want to solve this using completing the square. We've done a lot of completing the square, so we know that if we were going to do that, we would eventually want to make it look like this: x plus 3 quantity squared. Now I know that x plus 3 quantity squared is the same thing as x squared plus 6x plus 9. In order to get there, I would have to add 29 to both sides of the equation, and I would get x squared plus 6x plus 9 equals 29. Now that I've completed the square, I can use the square root method to solve this. So that would be taking the square root of both sides. I would get x plus 3 equals plus or minus. Oh boy. Sorry, thanks for bearing with me. X plus 3 equals plus or minus the square root of 29. Now 29 does not simplify as a square root, so subtracting both sides from, negative 3 from both sides, I would get x equals negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 29. If you would like to, I can just as easily run that through the quadratic formula. In fact, I could run the original equation, the 5x squared plus 30x minus 100, through the quadratic formula. But I'm choosing not to do that. I'm going to use the somewhat simpler numbers. So, opposite of b, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. This is my x value, or my x-intercepts. So I'm going to get x equals negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 116 all over 2. Now, 116 is the same thing as 4 times 29. So the square root of 116 is the same thing as 2 square root of 29. So, I have to get negative 6 plus or minus 2 square root of 29 over 2, which simplifies to that same answer I had before, negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 29.